Hey, what's cracking? Back with you. Uh, I went ahead and made me some notes on my phone so I could kind of keep in order of what I'm doing and saying on the video instead of getting all over the place. Sometimes I get a little nervous and it's easy to lose where I'm at. And sometimes I get a little excited when I'm telling these stories because it's like I'm right back there. So just overlook me. Um, First thing I want to say is please like, share, and subscribe. If you will share this on your Facebook, it will help me reach people that I won't reach any other way. Almost all of the videos that have been watched have come from Facebook. On Facebook, if you'll subscribe to it, if you don't want the notifications coming up bugging you, I'm totally understanding with that. You can turn the notifications off, but it will help me to get it out there. I'm probably not ever going to make anything off this. I don't expect to make anything off this. Um, I'm sitting here telling you everything about my most intimate things that happen in my life, my most private things. So if you can imagine what that would be like to get on here and tell people this stuff, and I'm not getting anything out of it. It's just that if someone would have sat me down and talked to me about this a week before, I would have went to prison, and I would have thought about all this. It might have changed things. I might not have went, but you never really think about the price of the things you do when you're so caught up with your emotions. All you think about is the moment. And sometimes if you think about the future and someone talks to you about it, it has a way to sway your decision. Um, Before I started these videos, there was a guy named, his name is Glass Leo TV is his channel. He really encouraged me to do this and get my story out there. And so I want to plug his channel. He's a bud tender at the dispensary over there. He does unboxing and he does reviews on different kinds and how they might help you. Medical marijuana is the only thing that helps me sleep. And when I have those bad nightmares, usually I can smoke and take a few minutes, and sometimes I'm able to go back to sleep. So it's really helped me a lot with anxiety. They had me on Xanax bars and everything in the beginning, and it was making me a terrible person. I had no control over my emotions whatsoever. And the medical marijuana helped me get away from all that. So uh, I want you to say before I start telling this story, before anyone gets offended, that I'm not woke. I don't know how to be socially acceptable and all that. The things that I learned in prison growing up in there are completely back from what you learn out here. So I'm not trying to tell you what's right, what's wrong, what you should think, what you shouldn't think. There's people sitting there that they're say they feel bad about it. Don't feel bad about it. I committed a crime. What I did was wrong. I had to pay for it. And if you commit a crime, these same things are going to happen to you. And that's why I'm telling you this. If I don't ever get anything out of this, but one kid decides not to shoot a school, decides not to run away from home, and ends up dead, decides not to rob a store, just one, it'll make telling you all this stuff worth it. And that's the only thing I have to gain. Otherwise, I wouldn't be telling you this stuff. Um, I want to tell you that before I get any further, that yeah, I went to prison for second degree murder. But you don't have to go to prison for second degree murder. You can go to prison for any number of things. And I'm fixing to hit a whole bunch of you real close to home. I'm going to give you a couple examples. Say that you've got a friend in the car with you. You run around with him and you don't realize that he has an opiate problem or anything. And he's went and bought some pills to keep him from having withdrawals. And he thinks they're opiates, but really they're laced with fentanyl, and he has 10 of them. And you get pulled over because you're speeding 5 miles an hour. And he's afraid of getting in trouble and shoves them down in your seat. And they find him, and he doesn't admit to them. Well, you may go to prison for distribution. You might end up going to prison. Maybe straight to medium security, just like I did. And if you do, they won't approach you maybe the same way they did me, depending on your age or how big you are, what race you are. If you're black, you'll be approached by other blacks. We'll know what gang you're in, depending on how many of you there are and how many of them are. You might not even be able to stay on that yard. If you're not in any gang, maybe they'll want you to be in one. The Indians are definitely going to check you out right off the bat. The whites, if you're big, they're going to pull you up and use you for strength. If you're in for sex crime, you don't want to be in for a sex crime. You're out of there. If you're of medium age, of medium looks and size, and they don't want you for your strength or fighting ability, might be seeing if you have any money. Maybe they want you to hold something for them in your cell that they don't want to get caught with. If you're in there young like me, you probably get approached just like I did. So the things I'm going to tell you, they're not good. And I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what happened. So it's not woke. The difference in homosexuals in prison, let me say that. when someone's called a homosexual, it's because they were probably a homosexual, the girl type in the street. And so when they come to prison, they try to be a girl, they try to look like a girl, and usually they get pulled up and they have a husband, someone else that you got to fight if you want to mess with them. So they get a little more respect because they kind of, what you call, settle down and get married in there. Then you have the ones that are boys. These are guys that aren't gay, wasn't gay in the street, don't want to be gay really, but they don't wear makeup. They still have mustaches, hair on their legs, but they're just trying to get by, so they do it willingly. And then you have punks. Punks are someone who, they're not gay, they don't want to be gay, they're being made to be gay. They're doing it because they're too weak to stand up for themselves, because they've been raped, and now they're ashamed and just trying to get through. So you have all different kinds. But if you're called any of those things and they don't apply to you, then you have to put that in check immediately. But not just someone calling you homosexual or gay or a rat. Someone getting sideways with you, period, has to be put in check immediately. People are going to test your boundaries just to see how far you'll let them go. And you have to let it be known that they can't push you far at all. But you definitely don't go find the biggest guy on the yard and hit him first. If you do that, you're not going to make it through the first day. That's stupid, not brave. You want to stick to yourself, mind your own business, try not to answer too many questions. People try to get to know you just so they can see how far they can push you. So it's best you don't get to know anyone at all. Now I want to get to how my first 24 hours went. I sat in A&R and all this time in A&R and county jail once I got moved up with adults, because juveniles don't know what prison was like. But once you get around the adults, they got all kinds of stories for you. Try to scare you to death, what's going to happen to you when it gets to prison because of your age and how pretty you are, you know what I'm saying? And they got me scared to death. Sitting in A&R, they tell me that someone just got raped over at Joe Hart just a few weeks before. And they're about a little bit older than me. There was no one my age. There was no one else 17 years old in prison. So people see me, it blew their minds. It's like there's a kid in there, and everyone would know what I'm in there for. And everyone trying to make an excuse up to talk to me. And shit, man. I was so worried and so into the Bible at the time. I was raised in church. And there's part in the Bible that says it's better to spill your seed into the belly of a whore than it is into spill it upon the ground. So I was so afraid of what was going to happen to me. I wouldn't even masturbate, man. I was afraid God was going to let someone hurt me. So you can't make deals with God. But back then I thought maybe I could. And I asked God that as long as I never started it, as long as I was trying to stay out of trouble and didn't want any trouble, that as long as someone else started it and they're jumping on me, that he would always help me find a way to win. And I've never been beat up one-on-one in a fight and hurt bad. And I've seen that happen to a lot of people. They get their jaws broke, they get hurt real bad. I got stabbed, but I really wasn't hurt real bad. I've been hit in the head with locks, but other than a few stitches and scars, I really didn't get hurt too bad. And I used to say the reason those guys go into cell and they're twice my size, the reason they couldn't hurt me is because they were fighting angels. And I still believe that to this day. God protected me. There was too many times that I should have not been able to walk out of there, and I walked out smiling. You know, people say, "Oh, he's going in there, he's fixing to get smashed." The kid never got smashed, and I thank God for that. But later on, I'm going to lose sight of getting out of prison. I'm going to become everything that I never wanted to be, and I'm going to do things I'm not proud of. I'm going to break that promise to God. And then things are going to get bad for me, a lot worse. But I want to talk about the first 24 hours. So first 24 hours, they come and get me in A&R and tell me it's my time, I'm shipping out. And I was so nervous, man, I couldn't breathe. I got so nervous, man, that I thought I was going to pass out. My body's just going to shut down, you know. And because all the talk, here it goes, going to prison with the men. So at Lexington up front, they've got these holding cells, and Lexington is a holding area. It's a place where they stop a lot for transfers, and they've got these buses that are called Green Lizards. They're bigger than a school bus, but not near as comfortable, and they're outfitted with bars and everything, and they transfer people from prison to prison with them. And sometimes if you're going to Granite and they just left Granite and they have to travel all the way around to all the different places before they get back, you could be on that bus 24 to 36 hours. So sometimes they stop the bus 30 minutes or an hour and you do a layover somewhere. And Lexington's one of those places. They'll get you off the bus, let you use the bathroom, give you a sack lunch, some bologna or some peanut butter sandwich, and some coconut and raisins in a bag, maybe an apple if you're lucky. And you'll hold over in that cell a little while till they put you where you're going to go. And they had come and got me, and they took me to one of these holding cells. So there's all kinds of people in this holding cell, and people going here, people going there. And there's a black guy in there, and he's got braids. His name is Chester. And he was from the Lexington Yard, and I knew by then I was going to Lexington. And so he starts asking me what my name was. And I didn't know it at the time, but the guy's a buzzard. And what a buzzard is a buzzard, the guy's doing a life sentence, or he's living it like he's doing a life sentence. And he goes and he gets guys who aren't gay, young guys, and they turn them out, make them gay, and try to have, unless they have someone already living in their cell with them, is gay for them, you know. And otherwise, they're always on the prowl. And they're trying to turn you out, and they call them buzzards. And these guys get lined up in the mornings on Tuesdays and Thursdays when people are coming in. They're lined up in front of the library down there to see who the new people are coming in. They call it Buzzard Row. But I'm talking to this guy in the host. I haven't hit the yard yet. And he worked in the laundry. And he's telling me, go down there and have them hook you up. Tell them Chester sent you. And I'm thinking, nah, I don't think I'll say anything about Chester. And he's telling me, oh, you're going to have problems in there. What you in for? I said, I'm in for murder. You know, kind of like I'm hard. Oh, well, maybe you will be all right, he says, because I act like I'm ready to fight. But, man, I'm the littlest guy in there, by far the youngest. So they come and get me to take me to the yard, man. And I was so nervous. Take me out on the yard, and I took my handcuffs off. I'm carrying a mattress. I don't have any clothes or anything yet. A few little things I had with me from A&R, my Bible and a mat. And I don't even have sheets and blanket or anything yet. I got to get that from the laundry in the morning. So they're walking me across the yard, man, and everybody we walk by stopping staring at me. And the guard sees it, and they take me back to the unit, and the guards are afraid something's going to happen to me, man. They're saying he's not going to make it, man. Keep a good eye on that guy. He's not going to make it through the first day probably. They're going to be all over him. So they take me and put me in a cell by myself. There was a cell up there. They have orientation in this unit. There's everyone that's on that unit just came to that yard. They may have been coming from another yard, may have been in a while, or they may be coming from A&R just like you, but they call it the pumpkin patch because you come in there in an orange jumpsuit still and get in your cell until you go to the laundry the next day and get your clothes. And I don't know no one, man. No one in my family's ever been in prison. No one could tell me anything. Back then you couldn't get on YouTube and watch a video and see what it's going to be like. So I had no idea what I'm getting into. As far as racial things, my basketball coach was black. I was from a little country town, but there's a black guy in my grade. My grandmother's a Christian woman, took me to church, and you weren't allowed to talk bad about people, regardless what color they were, Indian, Asian, black. It doesn't matter. My grandma would wear me out a switch. So I wasn't racist. I didn't have any reason to be. I'd never been around any homosexuals. Keep in mind, I just turned 15 when I got locked up, and 17, just turned 17 when I hit the yard. So my uncles and my mom and them, you know, told us about things like that when we were kids, but I honestly thought it was just to keep boys from, you know, trying things. I had never met a homosexual, and if I had, I didn't know it. I didn't have anything against anyone, though. I was raised in church. Regardless of anyone else's sin, you treat everyone equal. That's just how I was raised. So didn't have any reason to start off racist. But prison will make you racist if you're not, for a lot of people. And so they put me in a cell all by myself. But, you know, as soon as they put me in my cell, I went downstairs, and now I can use a phone. Haven't been able to use a phone. There's phones down the wall. Anyone can use them. Give you a little PIN number you can use to get out. So I'm finally fixing to talk to my mom. And there's all these black dudes in the day room over there all staring at me and trying to talk to me, asking me if I have family in prison, do I have a brother, think they know somebody that looks like me. They're all trying to talk to me. It's all those buzzards, man, and they got me scared to death. I don't know what to do, man. So I tried to stay on the phone. But it's like an hour and a half to log down. It's 15-minute phone calls costing my mom out the butt, man, $5, $7 a call. And these guards say, keep your eye on him, keep your eye on him. You know, he's going to get hurt. He ain't going to make it through the night. I hear them saying it. So finally I go up to my cell and just go in there and lock the door. And a few people come in and look through my window, but they don't try to get in or knock on the door or anything. So there's only one guy. I don't know anybody, but there's one guy that lives a few doors from me. His name is Cotton. And he's a black guy, and he was in A&R with me, and he left a few days before I did. And I played spades with him, so I did know who he was. And he had told me that he was going to take me to the laundry in the morning, show me where the laundry was at. So in the morning we get up. I'm sorry this video's running a little long. I got to finish the first 24 hours. So we get up, and he's going to show me where the laundry's at. So before we go to the laundry, we stop in chow to eat chow. Okay? So we go in chow hall, eat chow. I immediately notice that all the whites are on that end and all the blacks are on this end. And no one's sitting together. Prison was real racist back then, especially. It's not quite as bad now, but it's still pretty bad. So I didn't know what to do, man, where to sit. I didn't know any of them white guys. Nobody offered for me to sit down. Everybody's staring at me. Cotton goes over. He's ahead of me. He's going to show me where it's at. So he sits at a table by himself. It's kind of in the middle between both. And so I go over and sit down with him. And so it's just me and him sitting there, man, and both of us, a couple Skinners, and immediately two more black guys sat down. And one of them was one of those buzzers. And so I felt very uncomfortable. So I get up and I go to put my tray up. I'm just going to stand at the door and wait on Cotton because I just felt like something's wrong. I just feel it. Everyone stared at me. So I get up and I had to go put my tray up. And when I get there, there's this white guy. So the white guy, he's standing there with his tray in his hands, giving me a real dirty look. Put my tray, come here, let me holler at you. Hey, come here. We don't sit with them N-words, you know. I said, man, hell, I don't know what's going on. I just got here, man. He just showed me where the laundry is. If I come here, I'll show you where the laundry is. You know, sit over there no more. So, yeah. You don't know nobody. You come over and hang out at my cell. You know, he's younger like you. You hang out with him. So he takes me around the laundry and get my little, you know, some pants and shirt till my mom can send me some clothes and sheets and a blanket. I go over and put him up in my cell, and then he's still with me. He takes me over to the cell. And we get over there, and notice his cell partner seems really feminine. And he's having this guy's going out of his way to get me comfortable and telling me, you know, you come over here and hang out. You don't have a TV yet. Hang out with us. You know, you get to be friends with my cell partner. And like, something ain't right here, man. And then, sure enough, that guy was just homosexual. So not only were them black guys trying to get at me the night before, and then the holding cell, but this white guy trying to get at me in the morning. So all them stories, you know, these white guys are going to pull you up. Yeah, they're going to pull me up all right, move me right in the cell, replace the guy I had. So we'll start back there in the next one. So it's fixing to get rough for old Rick. So stay tuned. You guys stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.